Ladies and gentlemen, I'm delighted to have this opportunity to address you today, although I am disappointed not to be able to be with you in person. I wish at the outset to congratulate colleagues from OECD, from UNDESA and IOM for organizing this first ever forum on migration statistics. Your gathering could not be more timely, as member states will next month begin negotiations towards a global compact on migration. And just last week, the Secretary General issued his report as an input to the zero draft of the compact, which in turn will be tabled by the co-facilitators in early February. In the consultation phase of this process towards a global compact on migration, states have repeatedly pointed to the need for reliable, timely, and internationally comparable migration data as key needs. So before I turn to a number of issues of particular relevance to this call for more and better data, I wish first to take this opportunity to situate my comments in the broader context of the Secretary General's vision for the Global Compact as outlined in his report. First, the Secretary General's report underscores that the Global Compact must address international migration for what it is truly the case, that is, a global phenomenon. The opportunities and challenges that human mobility present are not exclusive to any one part of the world, and yet they present themselves with very important regional specificities that need to be understood and then addressed. In doing so, the Compact must reinforce at the same time a commitment to multilateralism and, of course, respect for state sovereignty. Built on a strong platform of interstate cooperation, the Compact should be sufficiently flexible to be relevant both for the current and future realities of migrations, and we will be best served if we are properly equipped to anticipate change and prepare policy responses accordingly. Second, the Secretary General emphasizes throughout the need for our collective focus to remain squarely on facilitating safe, orderly, and regular migration. Our project is not to attempt a futile attempt to curtail migration, let alone to attempt to stop it altogether. The report maps out what facilitating safe and orderly migration should look like, what key obstacles currently prevent us from reaching this goal, and what solutions are available to overcome these hurdles. First, we must improve regular migration. It is crucial to keep in mind that most of the world's 58 million migrants move in a completely regular fashion. Their economic impact and contributions to reducing inequalities between and among countries is very well recognized squarely in the Sustainable Development Goals. And further, beyond its contribution to sustainable development, you yourselves know only too well migration's utility as a tool to offset demographic trends of either population growth or decline in many countries. Despite the many positive impacts of migration, current restrictive labor policies, coupled with other legal and practical barriers, very often hinder migrants' potentials to contribute fully to our societies. So in this regard, the Secretary General urges member states to open and diversify the various legal pathways for migration, including as a tool to reduce irregular migration. There are several advantages to such an approach. More legal avenues for migration will reduce the incentives for individuals to enter or stay in a country irregularly, thereby protecting migrants from exploitation. At the same time, a variety of open pathways will ensure that actual labor market needs for foreign workers in many countries are met, and not only in the informal economy, as is so often the case today. The Secretary General also highlights the situation of migrants in vulnerable situations, particularly those who, having tried to escape insecurity, human rights violations, environmental degradation, or just a general lack of opportunities, have undertaken a journey in perilous conditions, often as part of large population movements. For many of those, while asylum under the Refugee Convention is not an option, return is often also not realistic. We are currently ill-equipped to address this issue, thus the need for increased international cooperation, which should yield practical, sustainable, and humane solutions for them. Finally, the report stresses the Secretary General's ambition to reconsider the working methods of the United Nations system on international migration in order to support the implementation of the Global Compact in the best possible way, in line with his proposed UN management reform and strengthening the development system. Ladies and gentlemen, let me now address a few elements I would like to highlight, specifically in the context of your discussion on migration data. The Global Compact should seek to launch an era of implementation, where real progress can be made on the many commitments already made to the tangible benefit of millions of individuals. I'm sure I don't have to convince anyone in this room that well-managed migration policies must be evidence-based and informed by the best data available. To this end, the Global Compact will need to be supported by an increased effort to invest in data collection, analysis, and research on the broadest possible thematic and geographic basis. Availability of timely, disaggregated data is so crucial to the design of appropriate migration policies, both nationally and internationally. Credible economic and social indicators are the best way to counteract myths and assumptions which cannot be the basis for sound public policy. While more scientific evidence and research on international migration is therefore clearly required, we must also acknowledge the current environment in which we will seek to deploy these efforts. There is an increase in public distrust towards government institutions in many countries, and privacy protection concerns are also rising. It will therefore be critical for the scientific community and for political leaders to stress the importance of data gathering exercises, such as a population census, for instance, and to reiterate the proper handling of such information. I was particularly pleased to see that your deliberations include a panel supporting ongoing endeavors to correct the narrative on international migration while focusing on the existing tensions between popular perception and the reality of migration, a reality which, as you all know, is so much better than public rhetoric in many countries would suggest. Finally, as outlined earlier, the Compact should be viewed essentially as an agreement to cooperate. Success will largely depend on political leadership and the willingness of states to enhance cooperation not only between themselves, but also in partnership with other stakeholders, including civil society, academia, and the scientific community, the private sector, and others. In this spirit of cooperation, I'm delighted to see that your discussion focuses on capacity building and collaboration with a variety of stakeholders to explore innovative ideas to improve migration data. In closing, let me reiterate that the Global Compact process presents a unique opportunity to prioritize investments in data collection and research, and to mobilize resources and the funding needed for a better understanding of all aspects of international migration. I wish you the very best in your deliberations, and I do look forward to hearing the results of this splendid initiative. Thank you very much.